low. So I'm gonna try to line myself up. Well, maybe I'll actually come here. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little morning hip stretching, basically. So I'm gonna start with my elbows down and my knees a little bit wide, about the width of my mat. I'm just gonna shift my hips around, forward and back first. And then I'm gonna start to put some circle into it. So I'm gonna kind of shift my hips to one side, circle forward, shift to the other side, circle back. I'm gonna do a few in this direction. I'm gonna widen my elbows a little bit because that feels more sturdy. And I'm really pushing my hips fully into that circle. Almost feeling a little inner thigh stretch when I go way over to one side, and then back, and then way over to the other side. And then I'll flip the direction. I'm taking some nice deep breaths while I do this. And then I'm going to press back, more like a child's pose here. Or I should say exactly like a child's pose. So I'm extending my arms, I'm spreading my fingertips, I'm spreading my palms, and I'm rocking my hips side to side. So I'm pressing my tailbone back toward my heels. My feet are a little narrower than my knees. And I'm breathing. All right, and then I'm going to come up, rounding my back, trying to feel a stretch in my back. As I come up, bring my knees back to hip distance apart, and my hands under my shoulders. And then I'm gonna lift and rotate. Try to find that inner thigh stretch with a little lift and rotate. So other leg, lift and rotate. Switching sides. I'm gonna go a little wider with my hands. It's okay if your elbows bend here. You just really want to feel your hips, feel your glutes working to lift those legs up. All right, and then I'm gonna stick my toes under, get my knees a little bit wider again. We're gonna go to a down dog, so I'm gonna rock on my feet a little bit first though. Just really tucking those toes under and going side to side. And then we're going to press up to a down dog. Bring my hands a little more forward here, pedal my heels out for a bit. Taking some deep breaths still. Back down one more time in the child's pose. I'm gonna kind of shift my ribs this time. So instead of thinking about moving my hips side to side, I'm bringing my ribs from one knee to the other and kind of pressing forward into the floor for that counter pressure. This also kind of has your shoulders working side to side because I'm keeping tension in my shoulders as I have to try to push the floor forward with the heels of my palms. Okay, I'm gonna come up again and we're going to do some inner thigh stretch. So I'm gonna put one leg out to the side. The other foot can stay flat. And I'm sitting back onto that heel. If that doesn't work for your knee, you can always stay up like this and just inch this leg away. I'm going to turn the bottom of the foot toward the ground, so I'm inverting my ankle. And lay back, if you can lay back. And I'm just going to move my chest. I'm going to rotate my chest a little bit side to side here. So you don't have to be on your elbows. You can put your hands up. I'm kind of, right? The hands up is a little easier, actually. So I'm actively trying to push the bottom of that foot into the floor while I rotate the chest. And I'm going to bring that in and go to the other side. So again, I'm gonna invert my ankle and get that bottom of foot down. Foot is flat in the back. That means the top of your foot is against the floor. If it feels good for you to bring your butt back to your heel, go ahead and do that. And then let's add that rotation. If not, you're just here and you can still get this rotation, right? So my rotation is happening a little more through the chest and the hips if I'm up here. Whereas if I'm down here, my hip is kind of locked into place and I'm getting more of that rotation only through my mid-back. Okay, and then I want to do one more thing. I think I want to do Frogger. I took a 20-minute walk before this, so if you're not feeling warm enough for this part, you don't have to do this. This mat is a little sticky, but I'm working my way toward knees being apart. My feet are pointed. I don't know if you can see my feet, barely. Anyway, they're kind of narrower than my knees and on the tops of my feet. Right, and I'm just gonna shift my hips side to side here. So it's kind of like I'm trying to drive one hip bone into the floor, and then I switch and I try to drive this hip bone into the floor. You could also think of it as trying to hike your hips. So it's like I'm lifting one hip and like shortening my waist on this side, and then lifting the hip as in shortening the waist on this side. So I'm just doing that back and forth in this Frogger position. So this bent knee, inner thigh, groin stretch. And then I'm going to stop in the center and shift my hips back toward my heels. That will really intensify the stretch. So breathe into that. And then we're going to coordinate a little hip shifting, kind of going in a circle. So I'm going to hip shift, make my waist shorter on this side, come forward, hip shift the other way, so my waist is shorter here, and go back. Hip shift forward, hip shift back. Right, so I'm kind of making a little like circle, right? So hip shift back, hip shift forward. And you can kind of feel that stretch change from inner thigh to inner thigh. And then let's take it the other way. So hip shift up this side, go forward, hip shift this side, go back. I'm hip shifting up here, forward, hip shift here, back. And still breathing. Make sure you can breathe through it. And then let's stop in the center. And this is a very sticky mat, but I'm gonna go a little further out. So if you can separate your knees a little more, go a little deeper, if that feels okay. If this feels like too much, take a break, come back and join if you're ready. You do not need to hold this stretch this long if your body's saying, ouch. If you're not used to it, it's hard to hold stretches for really long. So just do them in little bits. Take a break, come back, try it again. Take a break, come back, try it again. Just make sure you can breathe. Nice and slow and relaxed. I'm doing the hip shifting circles again. Okay, now we're gonna get one activation. So we're gonna press our knees down into the floor for about 5 seconds. I wanna try to use my groin muscles and my inner thigh muscles as if I'm trying to close my knees, but the floor is in the way. So it's an isometric. And then let it go again. You can shift our butt back toward our heels here. And that's very intense, so I'm kind of going back there for a breath and then coming back forward a little. Go back there for a breath, come back forward. Again, I'm almost at my limit for this stretch, but if you have hit your limit, come out of it. If you feel like going back in, go back in. All right, so now to come out of it, I'm gonna pull my belly up like I'm drawing my lower abs up and in, and off-weighting my knees, which didn't quite happen because this mat is sticky, and pull together. Okay, I'm gonna get one more down dog. I think I need to lose my socks for this, and then we'll be done. So, heels if you need to, feet are about hip distance apart, and then just settle your feet into wherever you can. If that means heels are popped up, knees are a little bent, that's fine. If you can get a little straighter, go ahead. but notice how forward my chest is. I want to go ahead and pop my heels up and bend my knees so that I can get this deeper, longer extension through my spine. So I'm driving my hips to the ceiling, I'm driving my chest to my thighs, I'm spreading my fingertips and palms and pressing the floor forward. And then once I've got that, I'm going to try to straighten just one leg at a time without losing that nice extension in my back. One heel, other heel. And then I think I can get both heels, but you can work up to that if you're not able to get all the way straight. Just keep working toward this. I'm going to exhale and dig a little deeper into that. That means I'm pushing a little bit more forward into the floor, really locking out the elbows, really feeling that tension through the shoulders, but it's to press away, so it shouldn't feel like super hard work on the shoulders. You're using your shoulders for sure. I'm going to send the chest toward the thighs. All right, feel free to take a breather from this if you want, and then you can come back in for this part, but I'm going to put one foot in the center, and I'm going to try to keep this extension in the spine. So I'm going to bend both legs at first. All right, how are we doing? And then lift up and up. Oh, so I'm straightening that leg, and I'm lifting that top leg, and I'm turning the hips. I know I've got one leg off camera here. Sorry. Okay, let's try again. So there we go. Nope, I'm still not on camera. Sorry. All right, let's try the other side. So this one in the center. Lifting. I'm going to start with that bent leg because I'm losing my extension here. I want to get that back extension again. Then I'm going to try to hold on to that back extension and try straightening the leg. So just go where you can with this. That. And since you couldn't see my leg, sorry, I should have said this, but my leg was bent up at the top. Okay, I'm kind of sweaty now. All right, guys, thanks. Bye-bye.